Welcome to the English with Kirsty podcast from www.englishwithkirsty.com. Here I'll be sharing with you tips, information and other learning resources so that you can improve your business English. Hi and welcome back to episode 151 of the English with Kirsty podcast, and these solo episodes are usually a bit shorter. They're just an opportunity for me to speak with you, to share something I learned, something that happened. And today is something I learned because I am an English teacher, but I am also a learner of various languages. I have German and Romanian and now European Portuguese, and I want to learn them. I want to speak them better. I want to understand them better. And I think that's one of the things that helps me as a teacher as well, because I'm not just a teacher who teaches English and only speaks English. I know some of the challenges, but that also means that I can come up with some tips, things that have helped me. And that's what I'm going to share with you today, because recently I've set up a group it's called Language Exchange for Language Professionals, and it's people who are working with languages in some way. And now we have some language exchange meetings where we look for potential language exchange partners, but we also talk about things that we've learned. And one of the things that I shared was something that I've been doing recently, and that is writing. So I believe that all the skills are important, and you should probably pay most attention to the one that you're least good at, which for me is speaking in Portuguese, because it's always the one that develops last for me. With Romanian, it's kind of caught up, and German the same. But when I start a new language, speaking is one of the harder skills, but writing is one of the skills that helps me to improve my speaking. So if you want to improve your speaking, you have to speak. There is no shortcut. There is no way around it. But if you can improve your vocabulary and your understanding of how the language fits together, that can also give you more confidence when it comes to speaking. Because I get quite stressed if I think someone's waiting for an answer for me, or if I don't have time to respond in the way I want to. So with writing, it gives me a bit more time to think and to create my sentences as I want them, which if you want to speak, eventually you're going to have to get past that, and I'm going to have to get past that and speak. But what I'm saying is this is helping me. But somebody had an idea and suggested, okay, well, why don't you write 100 words a day? I was like, 100 words a day, that's not so bad. It's not so long, it's a couple of paragraphs. And then I thought, okay, well, I could probably do that. But then I thought, oh no, that's just like writing a diary. And I didn't want to write a diary. The last time I did that, I was 15. And I wrote everything in this diary. I entrusted it with all my thoughts and feelings, and I did not want anyone to find this diary, and nobody did. There's no horror story where somebody found my diary and read it. But nothing like that happened. I just decided I was done with that. It helped me to process all the things that I was thinking about, trying to make sense of life as a 15-year-old. And then I decided when I was done with it, I kind of destroyed the diary, and nobody found it. So that was fine. But I thought, I can't do that again, because I don't want people to read all my ideas. But it doesn't have to be like that. If you start writing, or journaling has become very popular, I don't do that either, because I somehow don't want to commit everything to paper or to the laptop. But I mean, if you do something like this, it can be anything. It can be something that you learned each day. What did you learn today? Or it can be, what are you grateful for today? Or it can be, what's something that happened today? Or it can be something more reflective, like self-reflective. Or if you're improving your language skills for business, it can be something about business, something that happened in your business, or something that you learned about business. I tend to be a bit less structured, and I do a mixture of all of these things. I just think of, okay, what's my idea? What's my topic? What am I going to write about today? And then I write about that. And it has to be at least 100 words, but usually it's more, because once I get started, I have more to say than 100, but that's like a minimum figure that I go with. And I don't date them either, so it doesn't look like a diary in that respect. It's because then it looks like there's days missing if I don't manage to do it. And I just, okay, this is the next one in the series. And so that feels a lot less kind of judgmental. You didn't get this day written. So it's very kind of relaxed, but it's also something that I think can help us, because as we start to, I've noticed that I'm beginning to write faster now, both because the words are coming a bit faster and because I'm doing it in Portuguese, so the additional characters, that's also something if you want to type in another language and the keyboard is different to yours. I now have 4 keyboards on my laptop, but you have to teach your fingers where the other keys are and how to, write the words a bit faster using those accented characters. So it's good for writing, it's good for getting your brain thinking about the other language. I believe it's also good for fluency, because when I do start talking more, then it will be a bit easier, I think, because I'm giving myself this practice at coming to try and do it every day to write something. So this is something that could be useful for you, whether you're learning English or another language, and see how it goes. Because if you say you're going to write, I don't know, once when I was learning Turkish, I had to write 1,000 words about something, and that felt big. That felt like, I think it was a summer holiday exercise or something. I certainly didn't do that every week, but I remember this one time I had to write 1,000 words, and that felt really big. And I did it because I was like, okay, this is my challenge. I'm going to meet the challenge. I'm gonna succeed with this challenge. But that's big. But 100 words every day is a lot easier than 1,000 words. Sit down and write 1,000 words. So make it kind of small and manageable. It doesn't have to be to share with someone. If you want to share it with someone, like a language teacher or partner, then you could. But the idea isn't really for this to go anywhere. It's for you. It's to build a habit of coming to the language and expressing some thoughts or ideas in the language about what you want to write about, and not what somebody else has told you to write about. And sometimes that means that you can feel a bit more inspired because it's your own ideas. So that is the language tip for the day. The other ones that came from that meeting, people were talking about comedy shows not comedy shows, quiz shows and comedy shows, I think, but like different types of shows that can be helpful for us. I don't tend to watch comedy shows because I don't like them in English, and the chances of me liking them in another language are not very high. But the idea was about not focusing on only series or only films, but think about what else you might watch in your first language and then doing that in another language. So yeah, we share ideas. The idea is to come together to find language partners, but we also share ideas about what we've been doing for our own language development. And I think that if anything comes up, like this 100 words a day idea, I will share them with you as well, because variety is what keeps learning a language interesting. If you do the same thing every day, it can be good to build a habit, but if you only do the same activities, that can get a bit boring. So it's good to have different activities that you can do, like different types of food on a menu, to keep it interesting and fresh. So if anyone tries this writing, call it journaling, call it a diary, call it whatever you want to call it, as long as you do it. If anyone wants to try this, let me know how it went for you. podcast@englishwithkirsty.com. And yeah, have a good week and keep learning.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the English with Kirsty podcast. If you have any questions or comments, my email address is kirsty@englishwithkirsty.com, or you can go to www.englishwithkirsty.com/podcast, where you'll find information about the individual episodes.